These questions that we're going to give you and that we're going to show you the answers to are actual questions that have been sent in to our marriage counselors. We have a special offering for those who have not taken the course where they can write to a counselor. It's called Ask a Counselor. And for people who are taking the course, we have a course for men and a course for women. They can ask a counselor pretty much anytime and anything. So let's get started. This is new for us. As you know, this is number one in a series of the best questions because we think the best questions come to us. And you will gain so much from this. So let's begin. And after I give you what the counselor responded to, I'll tell you what I think about that answer. Should be great, because we also have a program where we train marriage counselors or marriage coaches or ministers and pastors, rabbis, the like. So let's see how we do here, okay? The first one is from a guy, and he writes, I have completed the course and feel it has helped. However, my wife asked me last night if I have been messaging a woman she knows trying to hook up. Of course, I deny it because I have not been. I ask questions about it. A mutual friend of my wife and this lady told my wife the situation. I did not remember ever talking to the lady, so like I said, I denied it. Afterwards, I lay in bed and remember years ago having a conversation with the supposed woman, but I cannot remember what was said at that point. I remember Paul saying, do not confess, as it only helps me, not my partner. However, I'm torn on a decision because I want to be honest with my wife and trying to start over, and I do not want her to approach the lady and ask to find out I did talk to her and learn all what was said. Because I do not know what I said, I can't help but think it was bad considering I forgot. And I do not want to look like a liar than embarrass and hurt her again. So I'd rather go back to my swears and say that was years ago and I do not remember what I said, but I said something I probably shouldn't have, then move on. But on the other side, I can't help but think my wife may not ask me. It would be weird to talk to the lady and also have her knowing the friend told my wife behind her back. Please advise on what may be the best approach. Thank you. Before I give you the response that our counselor gave to him, I would like to suggest to this person that he should not become a writer. It was really hard even for me to follow this. But basically, it looks like he got busted for something that he did years ago. Also, I would say that he didn't take that course, the men's course, that long ago, or he would have known what to do. And I would also say that he's doing what most people do when they are caught in something that they don't know how to get out of. They do, well, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. It always reminds me of that scene in The Princess Bride where the guy's going on one hand, but on the other hand, and then on this hand, but on that hand. And it becomes an endless back and forth. The right answer that I hope the counselor gave, because I literally do not read these before I read them, because then it would become less authentic. And I want this to be really, really good stuff for you. My hope is that what the counselor does, and by the way, our counselors do not bust people. As tempting as it would be to say, come on, man, we don't do that. When someone writes to us, we treat them with all of the dignity that they deserve as a human being who have gotten themselves stuck in a situation. They don't need to be lectured. They don't need to be told, they're kind of playing games with the words or anything. They don't need all that. And it's not our place to judge people. It's our role here to help him move towards a better marriage. Not just a better marriage, but to be able to transform this marriage that obviously got sidetracked, and probably got sidetracked because of some, shall I say, less than total loyalty to his wife. So let's see, dear Andrew, and I'd love to get your opinion. You could put that in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you and see what you think. Usually, because our approach is based on universal principles of love and creating positive harmony in the future, we're not the same as if you were writing into a marriage counselor who was trained in Western psychology, who would unravel this poor guy and maybe even his wife. So let's see. And I got to say, many of our counselors were trained marriage counselors in Western psychology. So let's see who we got here. Dear Andrew, as you know from your experience, Paul's advice is spot on because it's always based on formulas, not feelings. And these formulas are laid out really well in both my books and in the courses. So it is very smart of you to write in with your question rather than blunder forward and hurt everyone. And I think that's good advice so far. When you share the past, you're only sharing memories of the past, which have been conditioned by all sorts of individual, and I put in quotation marks, adjustments that make up what you are on the mundane level, not the soul. Now, he's spoken too frankly here because that's what I teach on the courses. The soul is about love. Your wife's insecurities are flaring up for reasons you speculate. In other words, he doesn't know. And you will never come close to assuring her of anything positive by going into the past. I think the counselor is spot on there. Person isn't given assurance by what we say, only by what we do. I'm going to go a little further here. And what we do is completely irrelevant if it's not sincerely from the heart. A big part of the course is about self-transformation so that you're not the same person anymore. That is what therapists do to keep clients because it creates imaginative drama. Ooh, sounds like it's a therapist who's writing this. What do we want from marriage? This is rhetorical. We want love. It's true. We want happiness. I'm going to add that. So love her. Assure her of your love in ways that touch her heart. How do you do that? And this is what the course is all about, of course. Smile. Tell her how beautiful she is. Tell her what an amazing woman she is and how young she looks. Forget the past. Let it go. And don't allow your curiosity to distract you from being her king. So let's get into this a little more deeply. Basically, what the counselor here is telling him to do is to start from now. Love her. Smile at her. Tell her how much she is adored by you. And this is not phony. Some people use this kind of thing in a way to manipulate their wife, and that's not what we teach at all. Again, what we teach is that you must become the true lover. And how do we go about doing that? We go about doing that by checking in with ourselves as our reactive thoughts come up in our mind. I don't want to get too much into this because it becomes like, what is he talking about? Basically, the question is, what do I do now? I think I got busted. I can't remember, and I'm not sure how to handle this. Okay, fair enough. And the answer is, don't do anything about it. Use this as more incentive for you to work on your inner self towards the ultimate lover model that you want to fulfill. You see, our entire purpose for marriage is to learn how to love our spouse unconditionally. When we are doing that, we are supercharging our marriage. We don't need both of you to work on yourselves when you alone are doing that. Because when you're doing it the right way, and that's what we teach, how to do it the right way, when you're doing it the right way, it fills your hive with honey, you might say. It fills, I call it the sacred space of marriage. It fills your space with happiness and love. Of course, there are rules of behavior, and we lay all those out. They're very, very important. For instance, don't confront. He brings one up in this question. He brings up, what about asking for forgiveness? Or how does he put it? He says, confession, which kind of is an indication of what happened. And the reason why we don't confess, the reason why he points out accurately that confession is all about us when we confess to our spouse, is that what we're trying to do is get them to see us somehow as someone who should be forgiven. Well, I say forgiveness is between you and God. Don't worry about whether your spouse forgives you. Become the person who is above the thing that you did wrong. Let me put that into simpler terms. Let's say in this guy's case, there was some infidelity, and that tendency doesn't just go away because he says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes, I did it. I'll never do that again. It's nothing. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I watched Mary Poppins, and she called that a pie crust promise. Easily made, easily broken. And that's what it is. Until he changes himself into the kind of person who would never consider betraying his wife, it's a pie crust promise. And that's why our course for men is very different for women. Our course is designed to help the man, in this case, the men's course, change himself in real ways so that it's true. He'll never, ever even consider betraying his wife. And it's a long-term process, but that's what marriage is. Marriage is a long-term process. Okay. I'd love to hear your questions. I read everything in the comments section. I will respond to you. I think it's beneficial for others who read this, and we can have discussions about this. I want people to be happily married. And the starting point is oftentimes a really rough patch that the couple is going through. And usually only one of the couple wants to work on the marriage. And that's fine for us because that's the way to really get going. And then what happens is it happens that the spouse says, wow, what changes you're making, I want to take that course too. So I just realized I failed to mention that my name is Paul Friedman, and I am the one who founded the Marriage Foundation. I used to be a divorce mediator, and it was in 2001 when a couple asked me to help them heal their marriage instead of end their marriage. And I learned so much about marriage. And because I'm not a Western psychologist, I approached it from a very practical, scientific perspective. Here's the goal. This is the thought I'm going to leave you with. And by the way, please subscribe because we're going to do this. This is a series that we're just starting. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, And definitely let me know what you think about what we talked about. So I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. We're here to serve you. God bless you, and thank you. Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. Been saving marriages since 2001. Now, what can we say about not giving up and not settling? These are two big deals that for your marriage, these are vital concepts. And they boil down to two things that we offer you. One are the books that we have. I have Lessons for a Happy Marriage, which is the first book that I wrote, and Breaking the Cycle. They're both great. Flip a coin as to which one you want. That's for not settling. Those books lay out for you exactly what marriage is all about. The guidelines, the intricacies, delves into communication, all the things about marriage that you need to know. And if your marriage is doing fine, but you just have this little problem here, this little problem there, but it's basically doing fine, don't settle. I promise you this, when you read one of these books, you're going to learn more about marriage than you even knew you didn't know, and it's going to change everything for the better. You will be so grateful that you took my advice and got one of those books. Now, the Don't Give Up, when I began, I was structuring, compiling all the marriage help that people need in order to save their marriage. I was a divorce mediator until 2001. And so I was fortunate that I was accessing a support group for those who were going to get a divorce called Second Saturday in San Diego, California. And so I was able to pull out of those sessions individuals after I told them that I could help them save their marriage who were beyond on the verge of getting a divorce. I'm going to say 95 to 98% of the people for whom I got a divorce shouldn't have, didn't need to, had they known what I now know. I took all of that knowledge and I put it into comprehensive courses, one for men and one for women. These courses, your course based on your gender, will bring you from the depth of the swamp that you find yourself in, out of that into the light, and help you achieve a marriage you never even dreamed possible. That's a promise. Now, what if you're not even married? What if you're going to get married and you're just looking around for marriage advice? In that case, and I actually created this for some friends, we have a premarital course, which is amazing. You'll never have a problem in your marriage. Well, like nobody ever has a problem, but you won't have any killer problems. You'll know how to be married to get the most out of your marriage. What if you're only dating? Then I have a course for you too. This one I actually created for my son, and it is a step-by-step process for you to attract your soulmate and in the right way. I'm so glad that you found us. Please take advantage of that which we have to offer. We are here to serve you. I'm Paul Friedman. God bless you and take care.